Hello everyone, welcome to the research posters lesson. I hope by now you've made it through all 4 lessons and now it's time to talk about research posters. So what is a research poster? It's a poster that showcases your research findings in a simple, viewer-friendly format. It markets yourself to peers and professionals, and it's pretty much an elevator pitch to your audience about your research project and its findings. So, what is on a research poster? A research poster should include the following sections: introduction, methodology, results, which is your research findings, importance of your research, and conclusion and references. And it's also important to remember to thank your sponsors of your research and include your school logo. So, elements of a research poster. For your title, you want it to be clear and concise to capture the main focus of your research. Authors and affiliations should go under your title, so the names of researchers and the place they did the research at, usually where they work or go to school. Next, background and introduction. This is a brief interview of the research topic and rationale. Then methods and methodology, description of research design, data collection methods, and key procedures. So just explaining all the steps that you went through to conduct your research. And then for your findings, it's a presentation of the key findings. Most of the time, people use graphs or tables or images to show this in a simple way. Next is discussion and conclusion, which is the interpretation of your results and major implications. Some visual components that can be included on your research poster are things like lists and timelines, stuff that's easy to understand, and nothing really in a paragraph format. Key quotations or texts from human research subjects. Graphs and charts are really easy on a poster for people to see and understand. Also, including maps, photos, and illustrations, make sure that your poster pops and stands out. So your poster should stand out in a good way that means it's simple and easy to understand. You don't want to use a lot of color. You want it to still be simple. Use color for meaning and significance. For example, if you're doing a research project for school, use your school colors. And also use color to highlight important content rather than just using color all over the poster. So you'll use color for things like your background, frames around poster components, bullet points, or headlines of text or heading. So now let's talk about presenting your poster. Poster presentations are usually pretty casual. Most of the time, people present posters at once, and viewers come up and spend different amounts of time with them depending on their interest in the topic. When you have a poster viewer, you want to engage them in conversation, give them your name, and also get their name, and then walk them through your research in about 3 to 5 minutes, and also ask them questions, and hopefully they'll be asking you questions as well. So this is an example of a research poster. As you can see, they have a clear title at the top. They have the names of the researchers as well as the institution that they were researching with. They have the logo, Texas State University. And then they have their introduction and framework together. And they've used mainly bullet points. And then they've used the squares as a timeline, which is very easy and simple to understand. They've boxed everything separately: methods, objectives, and conclusions, and I've also used bullet points for those. And for their results, they've shown great photos and it's easy to see and understand. Now let's make a poster together. To get started, we're going to find a template poster on the Texas State University website. This will help us to organize all of our thoughts and sections all together. When downloading the template, it will open into Microsoft PowerPoint, and this is where we will begin to create our poster. So we will start off first with the title, and we're going to be basing this research poster off of an example research project. So our title is going to be How Different Amounts of Water Affect Plant Growth. And so we'll add that in. And then under the title is usually where you put your name, the name of all the researchers that helped you, and the name of your university or institution or school. Then we will start by adding in our introduction. Our introduction is going to be just a few bullet points, and we're going to say, farmers must water crops carefully so plants can grow strong. If plants do not get enough water, they may wilt. If they get too much water, their roots can rot. And then we're also going to add our question, which is, how does the amount of water affect plant growth? And we're also going to add in our hypothesis, which is plants that receive a medium amount of water will grow taller than plants that receive too much or too little water. And we'll add that all here in our introduction section. Next, we're going to move on to our methods section right under our introduction, and this is where you just list your procedures and all the steps you did for your research project. So for this example research project, we're going to start by numbering our steps. So for step 1, we're going to fill 9 pots with soil and plant 1 seed in each pot. Step 2, divide the pots into 3 groups, 3 plants per group. Step 3, water each group daily, and then we're going to list the groups and how much water we give them daily. So group A, 50 milliliters of water, group B, 100 milliliters of water, and group C, 200 milliliters of water. And then step 4, place all plants in the same sunny location. And then for step 5, measure plant height every 3 days for 3 weeks. And then step 6, record results in a notebook. Now we're going to add in our materials. So everything that we used to complete our research project, we're going to put in right here. So we're going to do a few bullet points, and we're going to start 9 bean seeds, 9 small pots, potting soil, water, measuring cup, ruler, and notebook. And those will just be short bullet points for the materials. Now that we've got all of the information down of how we did our research project, now we'll add in our results from our research project. So we're going to do 3 bullet points of group A, B, and C. So we'll do and say group A, low water, grew slowly and had small leaves. Group B, medium water, grew the tallest and looked the healthiest. Group C, high water, grew at first but later had yellow leaves. Then we'll add another subtitle and add in that low water was 12 centimeters, medium water was 22 centimeters, and high water was 15 centimeters. Now for our conclusion section, we're just going to add in a few simple bullet points, and we're going to say that the results supported the hypothesis and that the plants that received a medium amount of water grew the tallest, and that this shows plants need the right balance of water to grow well, and that this helps avoid wasting water. Now we're going to add in our important section, and we're going to title Why This Matters in Agriculture. So we're going to do 3 simple bullet points, and we're going to say this helps farmers save water, it improves crop health, and leads to better food production. And then right under that section, we're going to add future questions, and this is just future research that can be added on to this specific research project. and other questions that we can answer. So we're going to do 3 short bullet points as well. 1, what happens if fertilizer is added? Another one, does the type of plant change the results? And lastly, how does sunlight affect growth? Now that we have all of our information down on our poster, I'm just going to go back in and change font sizing to make sure that it's easier to read, and just rearrange some of the sections to make sure that they make sense and flow really well together. And I just want to make sure that I'm happy and that it looks professional and that everything is aligned. Now I've added in some photos and a graph just explaining my results, and I'm gonna just rearrange those in a way that makes sense, and just amplifying my results section. You wanna make sure that every time you're doing a poster, your results are kind of the center and eye-catching. And this is going to be our final product. Everything is aligned and easy to read, and I have pictures and a graph. I hope that you guys learned something from these lessons and that you go on to do your own research project. Now I've added in some pictures and graphs that support my research and my results, and so I'm just going to be organizing them to where they make sense. Lastly, you just want to make sure that your results are easy to read and easy to understand. And this brings us to the end of our poster lesson. I hope you guys learned something and can make your research poster and project soon.